y'all gonna let me have a real conversation with y'all, or y'all gonna get in y'all feelings about what I'm about to say? Let me know real quick. I'm about to say it anyway, so it don't even matter. Y'all gotta start dating within y'all tax bracket. And I'm not even talking about the gold diggers or the women that only wants men for money. I'm talking about the women that got their own bread. I'm talking about the woman that's out here doing it. I'm talking about the women that's buying themselves all types of gifts, that's taking themselves on all types of vacations, right? That can get their homegirls luxurious presents for birthdays. That's who I'm talking about. I'm talking about women who make their money and they like nice things. If you cannot support that lifestyle, that is likely not the woman for you. Stop pursuing women who live a life that you cannot maintain. So for example, if this woman on an average Saturday, she going out with a homegirl, she going out with herself, and she could afford to drop $300-$400 just easy, like that's nothing. That's regular shit. If you cannot afford to do the same thing, baby, that lady is likely not for you. If the clothes she wears, the shoes she wears, the jewelry she wears has a higher price tag on them, and you know that you cannot afford that, baby, this woman is likely not for you. If the car she drives has a 20-gallon tank and she only can use premium gas and she got to fill her tank up twice a week, which is easy $150 to $200 a week, right? If you can't afford to put gas in her tank, baby, just leave her alone. Like you get.
So let me ask you a question. As a guy that is super successful, just for the sake of conversation, I'm not just reacting to the video. For the sake of conversation, I am reacting to it because I think that this is worthy of a conversation. And I also appreciate the content creator. So, make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. I'm going to put a link back to the content creator down in the description also. And then last but not least, make sure you hit a like, comment, and subscribe because we love for you guys to come over here and give your thoughts. What happens when somebody like me, for example, exists? Just using myself, for example, because I don't want to just be hypothetical. I want to make sure that y'all understand that this is a real conversation. What happens when somebody like me, who is way above her pay grade, right? And I can afford to go and do anything that I want. I can go and charter a jet for 40, 50,000 one way and then 40, 50,000 the other way and don't even blink an eye. I go to the dealership and I could just cash out on a 150,000 car without even thinking about it. I buy $40,000 watches, $50,000 watches, and I have a whole lot of them. Should she step outside of herself and only kick it with a person that has, and I'm just asking a question, we're going to get to the full video. Should she stay out of my way because she not in her tax bracket? Or should I then make myself available to her because that's just what the power dynamics are within relationships? Because it's different, right? It is different that we live in a time where women now are equal to men, right? Women are in a space to where they can choose for themselves. A lot of times they say that they make more money than us now, that they're the biggest homeowners, which of course I know that they are not the most educated. They are the most enrolled, and they are not the most financially stable. They are the most in debt. And if you go through and you look at all of the people that are complaining about student loan garnishments that are coming up on May 5th, that is almost all complaints coming from women, specifically black women. And so when I look at this, and I'm not saying that she's wrong, all right? So let's be very clear. I just want to make a point to ask in this conversation because I think it's short-sighted to only look at it from one lens. I think that we got to look at it from different lenses. When she runs into one that is way up here and she thought she was popping way down here because her premium gas and her $300-$400 and whatever her brands are. I wear brands or whatever sometimes, but most of the times I just got on a black t-shirt. And I see women that say that they popping it and they sitting in the stands, but I sit courtside, row one. What's the difference? Let's continue.
You see where I'm going with this? I'm not saying you don't deserve love. I'm not saying that you don't deserve a good woman. What I'm saying is that that woman is just not likely it. Because you're going to have to take her out of the lifestyle that she's used to because you cannot afford the things or the experiences that she can. And it's not just about the monetary and material things. That's just the root. But let's look at it like this. Shorty want to go on a vacation to Dubai. Shorty want to go on a vacation to friggin' Turks and Caicos. And she want to go get a villa, right? With the butler and the pool right in the room and jacuzzi and everything. Baby, that's a $10,000 trip. But on that trip, there's going to be so many memories that is created. But because that is outside of your tax bracket, you cannot go on that trip with her and create these memories. You see where I'm going with that? But if there's another type of woman, same type of character, same good woman, right? Who's cool with a little 3-day, cruise to the Bahamas, that's only going to run your pockets a good $500, baby, that's where you need to be. And again, this is not me saying for anyone to settle, but this is me saying that you got to be realistic. Now, is it impossible for you to bag a woman like this? Of course not. Right? You know what I'm saying? Because really, if you got charisma, you could bag almost anything. But
Fact.
can you sustain a woman like that? That's the
I'm not really sure that guys care about sustaining it. They only care about bagging it for the night. And so I think that a lot of these women are going to do whatever it is that they're going to do, and they don't have no standards for the guy that they like. They only raise their standards for men that they think that they have to settle for. And so, when you having these conversations, we got to look at it from more than one lens. And I don't think that she had the amount of time probably to go through all of these different scenarios that I'm now going through. And again, I always like to link back to the content creator. I don't think that she's wrong, but I think that what I tell guys now is to stop dealing with broke women. And when I say broke women, I'm not talking about women that are going homeless or anything like that. I'm talking about women that are not on their level financially, because those type of women then look at you as a target or a mark, or you then become food, or you become a come up for them. Let's say that she makes 100, 200, $300,000 a year, and you make exceptionally more. Don't talk to her, because she don't have as much to lose as you, and as a result it's going to be a lopsided relationship, because she feels as though you need to prove yourself to her. And most women often at times will say, I want a man that make as much as me or more, because it doesn't matter how much she makes, she feels as though she deserves more. Furthermore, we also don't have these same women meeting the same quality of standards, because what we don't say is that men, a lot of times, especially men of a higher means, they make sacrifices in their entire lives in order to get to the spaces that they are financially. And, women, they make sacrifices sometimes that are career driven, that are super successful and all of that. And they make sacrifices to get to where they are financially. But often at times when they get to where they are financially, they raggedy, they not as well put together. They wind up getting a whole lot of surgeries, BBLs, because they don't have the time a lot of times to focus on themselves, or they don't have the time to a lot of times to pour into themselves as much as a woman that is living in her femininity. And so I think that it's just multiple different avenues that we need to explore, because there are more variables that go into the conversation. But I don't think that guys, I think that they need to start raising their standards. You're going to see guys that just like a woman for who she is, and that's going to be that, right? And he's not going to pay attention to what it is that she makes, because he just loves her, or he's just attracted to her, or he just want to get with her. And that guy, a lot of times, is the guy that gets finessed and taken advantage of further into the relationship, because he had too much to lose and they weren't equally yoked. Similarly, a woman is only looking at it most of the time because they're hypergamous and they want the best available option. They're looking at everything from a business perspective. And this is why you see her saying, hey, if she's not in your sphere, then don't deal with her, because this is the type of lifestyle that she lives and you can't give that to her. But we don't talk about love. If a man is paid, but then they come together, it's our money. If a woman comes together with a man and she makes more than him, it's her money. And this is the hypocrisy that comes along with equal. There is no equal. I understand that gender roles play a huge role in relationships, and we don't ever want to have a conversation about that. Should you go for the chick that, um, make a lot of money, or she makes more than you? If you're a man that, is just a regular guy, you make a decent amount of money, you got a really good lifestyle or whatever, talk to her. Add her as a part of your network. Kick it with her. See who she is on the inside. It's not about whether or not she wants you or not. She gonna give it up for whoever it is that she likes. But more importantly, I think that people need to focus more on character, good energy, whether or not you believe the same. And more importantly, for guys, you need to vet for the person that you're going to be, not for the person that you are, because she's not always going to qualify for who it is that you're going to be. And you have a much greater runway in your future than where you at currently right now. Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Again, I like her. I think that she makes some good points. I just think that it's more nuance into this conversation. Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to holler at y'all later.